Guys, what's happening? Rocks again. Just going to go over two trades that were sent out in the community. Posted the pound dollar trade on Instagram for you lot to have a look at. It was a fantastic day. I said I'll discuss a little blue line that I popped in there. It's not so clear on Instagram. I'm going to work on getting that clear for you guys to have a look at and see. But I hope you enjoy the analysis. Hope you can take something away from it. And if you have any questions or queries, do let me know. Just to let you know, I've had to redraw my charts, even though I popped the analysis out in the community this morning. I don't know what happened with the link between my PC and my laptop, but we've kind of had a little boo-boo. But anyway, this is how the setup looked from this morning, and then this is how the trade played out. So I had a little blue line on this trade. Let me find it. I think it's best we drop down to the 5-minute chart for this. Let's correct the screen. We have the little arrow. We have the break and then the retest. We have 20 pips to the point. Get up there, get up there. Okay. So that was the 20 pips. And then this was the little blue line you saw. Fantastic. Okay, so looking at you, UJ, pound dollar from the high time frames, we can see here our 4-hour structure levels that I was looking at this morning. Cautious structure high, clearly visible. Structure low, clearly visible, and then we have structure to the left. Okay, this is what I was working off. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see that the overall trend of the market obviously is still bearish, making new lows. Very important to see where my entry was. Structure had not made a new low as of yet. What was my anticipation? That price will continue to make a lower low. So when I dropped down to the 15-minute time frame, I was monitoring this very closely. I said to myself, at around this level, I'm going to be looking to, around this level. I think we was looking at this candle here, that I'm going to be looking to take an entry on this trade. Now, I hadn't set my entry as of yet, and glad I didn't. We started to have a rejection. I think I would have been all right even if I did enter here. Probably not. Good thing I didn't. Drop down to the 5-minute chart and have a look at this area here. I was really looking for a strong bearish close on these candles. This wasn't bearish enough for me. As you can see, the rejection. This is a strong 4H level, so it's key. So one or two things are going to happen. We're going to break it or we're going to find support. So that wasn't strong enough. I looked at price in a bit more detail, and I started to see that price was making new lows, which was obviously an indication to me that we could possibly pushing down to make a new lower low. I started to see this rejection on the next 5-minute candle. Even though it wasn't bearish, it was a strong sign of rejection from to the upside, not breaking highs, previous highs. So what I did, I set my sell stop at this structure level here at 29.37, and when I saw this inside bar, which is an indecision candle, kind of gathered that we should push down. When I don't know, but we should, as long as price didn't break my 10-pip stop loss, so these highs here, and start making new higher highs, then I anticipate we're going to push down. Eventually, we had this push to the downside. I had got triggered into the trade, and I was kind of bit wary of what could happen, but of course I set my stop loss at 10 pips. I said to myself, price is either going to push down or not. Based on the confluences and high time frame analysis, I was very comfortable being in the trade. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And then as you can see, price came back for a retest on this trade. If we look around this area here where the crosshairs are, I was very happy to see that pin bar rejection. And as you can see, price pushed down and hit TP. However, what happened is we kind of stalled for quite some time. Price was pushing down really slowly. We had an attempt to the upside with this candle here. Saw it turn into a bearish rejection bar. So I was kind of confident we're going to push and break new lower lows. What happened whilst in this trade, once price pushed down and formed this low here, I then put my stop loss to 5 pips. So I risked 2.5% on this trade to win 7.5%. And once price made a new low, I then put my stop loss into 1.25% risk on this trade, and of course 7.5% reward. Price then pushed down, made this new low, as you can see with the crosshairs. Once it broke the structure low, I then put my trade into break even. So I was quite confident being in this trade at this moment in time. It's either I was going to get stopped out break even or we was going to win the trade. So what happened is price eventually found some strong momentum. As you can see from all the previous candles to the left, nothing was as big as this candle. And this is when the new 1 hour candle had just opened. So the push was fairly strong. We were coming towards some really strong structure levels here. This is another 4H structure level. So I was looking or anticipating some sort of resistance, but we didn't get it. And because price broke through that structure level as it did, I was kind of anticipating a false breakout. So I was expecting price to retrace from me. So what I did is once this 5M candle closed and this 5M candle opened, price continued to push down to around this level here where the crosshair's at. And then what I decided to do was pull my stop loss to a 2-to-1 trade. So my reward was always going to be 5% on the trade. As you can see, price did come back and literally took me out by the wick. So as opposed to closing 7.5% on this trade where take profit was taken 10 minutes later, or my target was hit 10 minutes later, I got wicked out. Now, this is strictly discipline. Okay, I wasn't going to play with the trade. I said to myself, I'm happy with 2-to-1. If obviously I get stopped out, I get stopped out. If I don't, then fantastic. I sold myself short for an extra 2.5%, but I prefer to secure in the bag my 5% for the day, which put me to 17.5% for the week, and called it a day. As you can see, price came back down and obviously hit the 30-pip target that was originally anticipating. Now, something to look out for, guys. On this pair, price made a new structure low. Okay, as you can see, we broke structure lows to the left, pushed down, made a new structure low, and look at the retest. It literally was to the pip. So, just for future reference and pattern recognition, guys, if you're looking at this, see price broke a structure low. Okay, formed a new low, came back for the retest to the pip. You're not going to see it because it's over here somewhere, and continue to rally down to make a new lower low. So this is actually a very good trade if you missed the initial breakout. And of course, this is a more patient trade and safe trade. This happened around 3 o'clock. I was already done by then, but just something to look out for the future, as I'm not going to be going over all the pairs today. Just some observation there. This was trade analysis that I've posted again on Instagram for you guys to see. This analysis was taken around 12 o'clock. Posted it to the community. Mentioned that this is a very strong area of resistance on a 4-hour chart. We'll drop down to it just to show you. Reason being is we see here a very strong level of support, a very strong level of resistance. Maybe if I pull this over here for you guys, you might be able to see it more. And now what I was doing, I was just taking into account these wicks and these wicks, as many wicks as possible. As you can see, I've taken into account 3 wicks here, 2 wicks here, that's 6 wicks, okay? 5 wicks, sorry. So what I did is I was going to take this level. Remember, this is a price zone, not just a single level, and really watch to see what happened. I sent analysis in the group and said it's not safe to take a trade immediately based on an immediate rejection of this level. It's best to wait for price to come down and break this structure low here, as you can see, okay? And the reason being is if price is going to reject this strong 4-hour level and find momentum, then it is going to push back to the downside, at least to new structure lows. This was a strong level of support, again, on high time frame. And funny enough, everything's been happening the way I've analysed this week, which is always nice in trading. Now, this trade was set up, let me just see, yeah, around about here. What happened is you can see price broke this structure level. Now, I'm sure many people would have bought into this. It's a false breakout, but what you have to remember, guys, when you're taking these trades, you have to understand that this is a zone, okay? So you have to be observant, always wait for a break and a retest, unless you see that there is obviously opportunity to make new higher highs. At this moment in time, this is not an opportunity to break and make new higher highs, because as you can see to the left, this is your higher high. This is your new higher high. You're waiting for price to come back to then make a new higher high. So if you're taking a trade out of a structure high, wait for the pullback and then the continuation. This was your new higher high. As you know, with a push, you're going to have exhaustion. And if exhaustion is going to happen, then if you try to buy into a push after a break of structure highs or lows, the possibilities of you getting stopped out is going to be very high. So there's your false breakout. We can see price turned around, found momentum. Then eventually, as you can see, price came down and literally just shattered this trade. We had a 10 pip stop loss on this in the community, 20 pip target. And then as you can see now, price came down to this level, which was our original target. And as you can see with this analysis here, we find stronger resistance, support, and then support again. I guess at this time, many of the people in the community would have probably stopped trading. It's 4 o'clock, London closing in an hour. It's time to wrap up and go and enjoy the time with the family. But another super trade. Nice sell stop put in place. Wait for momentum to kick in, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. So 2 analysis, 2 wins. That's 4 for the week, up 17.5%, and that's how we do it. I hope you enjoy the analysis. Nice short one today. And any questions or queries, then hit me up. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Take care.